I sure am. And Austin last year ended up being one of my top five albums of the year. So I was really excited for this one. After that record, I was excited for him to do something further away from those like hip hop rap lines that he was, started his career in. I was kind of thinking he was gonna go more like soft rock, like air, like that kind of vibe. But a little while ago, came out that he was working on a country project, and I was like, all right, that could be cool. I could see that. Definitely could see him doing something like that. When it came out, I didn't expect it to be 18 songs. Didn't expect it to be a full, full-blown album. And I think every one of his albums has had 18 or so songs on it. I really did not need this double album though. I'm gonna be honest right off the bat there. He went the Taylor Swift way of the day the album came out, he was like, "Oh, by the way, here's nine more songs or whatever." Uh, and I think that he should have taken a less is more approach on this. So I'm just going through it quickly. Wrong Ones with Tim McGraw. It's like a seven to me. It has more of like an old school country feeling than I was expecting on it. And I'm not the biggest fan of Tim McGraw in general. I've never been the biggest fan of him. Cool to hear some like grit put on Post Malone's voice. That was pretty cool to hear. Not my preferred style of country though. Finer Things with like Hank Williams Jr. Much better for me. So it's about an eight. Another like it's around more my preferred style of country. I really like the guitar solo on this. That country guitar solo works well. Has catchy vocal melodies on this that I thought was missing from Wrong Ones. And then you know what? He knows how to pick a good single. I'll tell you that because all the singles on this one were the best of the record. I had some help with Morgan Wallen as a certified Morgan Wallen disliker here. Uh, this was very good. This is a 10 out of 10. I love this song. It's a great, fun summer country song. Super catchy. Even the guitar riffs and like the guitar licks on it are catchy. And this one, when it came out, was kind of my first indication that he was actually serious about the country direction and not just using it as some kind of gimmick. Like you could tell his heart was actually in it with this. Same thing, Pour Me a Drink with Blake Shelton. Fun summer drinking song. Not really much more to it than that. It's an eight. And you got Have the Heart with Dolly Parton. And here's where I started to already get annoyed by the features. I mean, he has like the biggest names in country music, modern and past, present on this record, right? But did we need it on just about every song? I'm gonna say no. I think that on a lot of these tracks, the features took away from it. Dolly Parton, all the respect to her, she's a legend in her own right. I just didn't really think her voice worked in this one that well. It's just a standard country instrumental. I like the piano on it. It's like a nice duet. I just didn't care for her voice on it. Maybe something about the production on her voice too. Could be that she's just getting, old and they had to put some effects on it. I don't know. Standard country love song wasn't bad. I think I would have liked it without her on it more. It sits at about a seven. Then we get to the first, solo song by him on here with What Don't Belong to Me. And I really like this chorus. This is more of a pop song though, with slight country elements, and you like with that guitar tone. Bit repetitive. It's a good chorus though, and that's something that goes say for a lot of this album is the choruses tend to be good, but a bit overused and repetitive. So it's another eight, and you're gonna notice a lot of eight and sevens on this album for me. Goes without saying with Brad Paisley. I like Brad Paisley. I like the lyrics on this one. It's a good song. It's another eight. A bit too reliant on that chorus to its own detriment. Again, with the standard country instrumentation, though. And it's at this point that I'm already starting to get kind of tired by that same instrumentation throughout nearly every song. But then we have by far my favorite song on this album with Guy for That with Luke Combs. Luke Combs is great. He's probably the best modern country artist out there right now. Love his voice. Perfectly written track. Best chorus of the album. The melody on it is more creative and original than just about every other song here. They work insanely well together. 10 out of 10. And then we get to really the first song that I think changes the tone a bit with Nosedive. And it's a nine. It's a very welcome change at this point. And it's I really could have done without that feature though. Her parts are my least favorite parts of the song and really bring it down for me from what could have been another 10 out of 10, which leads directly into what I think is the worst song of the record on Losers. with Jelly Roll, which surprised me because I'm not the biggest Jelly Roll fan, but he's been featured on a ton of songs this year, specifically the past few months. I mean, you got MGK, Eminem, Falling in Reverse, some others that I'm sure I'm forgetting right now, off the top of my head, then Post Malone. And this just doesn't work for me. His feature, again, not needed. The vocal melody on this is really irritating. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Really not a fan of this one at all. Really dropped the ball in that collaboration. Immediately picks it up though with Devil I've Been with Ernest. Sits at about an 8. The vocals have a really nice groove to them on this one that I appreciated, but I didn't need the feature again. I thought that the featured guy's verse, I've never heard of him, but I thought that could have been left out. I didn't like that. The rest of his features okay, but that verse just didn't do it for me. Never Love You Again is interesting to me because it's really nice calming song. This one reminded me more of like old school, like the Everly Brothers style than anything else on the album. Pretty good. Sits at a 7. I enjoyed that one. And then everything I said about that collaboration with Luke Combs earlier on the album goes out the the window
Mhm.
for Missing You Like This, where this is just not a great song. It's very standard and very bland. So I don't know what happened to the creative juices on this one. I guess it all went into a guy for that. This one sits at a 6, but honestly, without Luke Combs, this would have been a 5. It just really disappointed me coming from having such a good feature with them together, like 5 songs prior, that I was like, what? Which led to another questionable use of a legend. You have Chris Stapleton feature on California Sober. I just don't think he used Chris Stapleton like almost at all here, or at least not to what you could have. I mean, the guy's a great vocalist, great country music artist, and this one's just lame. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's fine. Just really could have used that feature better. It's a 5. It's just background music. Hide My Gun with Hardy. Okay, it's fine. I'm starting to get album fatigue at this point. It's a 7. It's all right. It's good. And then the album, really, at least the standard edition, ends on super high notes for me. Right About You, 10 out of 10. Love this song. Proves he didn't need a feature on every single song here. Benefited a lot from that. I love the guitar licks that happen right after the chorus. Lyrically, it's really sweet. I really like the song. It's really good. And then same thing, Mexico with Billy Strings. This is what I wanted from this album. There's so much of the same like tempo songs throughout. There's like, yeah, we finally got like a cool, like really southern, like almost like fast outlaw country style song on here. Really needed a couple more of these. I love this one. Has a great guitar solo on it too. Fantastic. And then ending it with Yours would have been perfect. I didn't need the rest of the songs. The rest of the 9 songs could have been completely left off. I love Yours. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's another just one of those style of country songs that I really like. You can really feel the emotion in it. It's a really sweet song. Uh, Also been a while since there was like a good like a father-daughter dance song written. You know, Bon Jovi kind of tried it for his son on that last album and that failed. That was not good. So it's been a while. Really great. Would have been a really great ending. I'm going to pretend that the album ended there, but we're going to talk about the deluxe real quick. Fallen in Love. It's a 6. It's okay. It's too repetitive, but it's not bad. Dead at the Honky Tonk. It's good. It's just 7. It's another like fun outlaw country track. Could have done way more instrumentally. It's relatively standard. Killed a Man picks it up a little bit to an 8. I really like the message of this song, him killing off like the worst version of himself after realizing he's messing up his life. But again, could have done more musically, which is something that could be said for all of these 9 bonus tracks or double album tracks, whatever you want to call them. Ain't How It Ends. It's a 6. It's fine. Nothing special. I wouldn't go seek it out though, but I wouldn't skip it if it came on. Hey Mercedes, best song of these tracks, for sure, without a doubt. 8 out of 10. Really fun. There's really nothing to set it apart from other, songs that are like this though. Same with Go to Hell. Fun, catchy chorus, nothing else really to make it apart. And then it just ends on a lame note with Two Hearts. That's a six. It's just a sad song. Needed way more going on. And Who Needs You and Back to Texas are both five. Both just feel like background songs. But Back to Texas just really feels like a bunch of country tropes thrown together. Like if you told me this is the first attempt he ever made at writing a country song, I would not be surprised. It just felt like trope after trope thrown one after another into each verse. So overall, this album needed more upbeat songs. Too many of the songs just sounded too similar to each other throughout, similar to that Taylor Swift album that we talked about earlier in the year. It did not need to be a double album at all. There's actually one really, really solid album hidden in here if you got rid of a handful of songs or a big chunk of them. Too many songs, features did not need as many as we got. So, I mean, combined that whole double album version, I give it a 7.5. It's a good listen. It's interesting. The deluxe version, like the deluxe tracks, so that about probably like a 6.5. And the standard edition, that one honestly probably could have gone to a low 8, but yeah, as is 7.5.